all I want to say is platinum 24. Ain't wild.
I don't need no plastic breezy, just somebody that can make me feel.
Safe, yeah.
I've dealt with my share of women, but nobody ever made me feel.
Safe like you. Cause when I'm with you, I just know I'm fine. You
No, I'm
take all
fine.
the pressure off my mind. Patient and kind when I be going out my mind. Safe from the problems I don't worry hard to find. Woo! Our girl went platinum in 24 hours. And then a podcaster had to go to our girl Cardi B talking about what she do in her bedroom. Girl, I need you to look at the glass half full, not half empty. We got a mother of three, about to be a mother of four, out here hustling on subways, hitting all platforms, doing what she got to do to take care of her kids. Those are the type of mothers we like to see. And let's just talk about Jimmy Kimmel. The people said, "Hell to the no." I say the no,
No.
no, no. Say it again with me now. Hell to the no. Say the no, no, no. Jimmy, 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 Jimmy is back. And on a serious note, guys, the evidence regarding the singer David and Celeste Hernandez, things are starting to show. We're starting to see video and pictures surface. We don't know what's going on right now, but as a parent, we need to know what happened to this beautiful minor child. So we're going to get into that. And also on a serious note, so Big P is tying Tylenol to autism. But what
Mm.
nobody is talking about is what Fred Trump talked about years ago. We gonna get
Mm.
into that, y'all. All this and more on Another Mother, episode 35. Here we go.
Great five.
Create sin.
Dopamine.
Create sin.
Create dopamine.
Create sin. I
Dopamine.
create sin.
I create
We
dopamine.
another mother. Patio. Hey.
Another mother. Patio.
We
Hey.
another mother. Patio. Hey.
We another
Here
mother.
we
Patio.
go.
Here we
Here we
go.
go to the mother freaking show. As y'all can see, and wow, went off the beat. But we live and we gonna keep it going because we are entertainers. And I'm a pastor right now. And we know how. I say we know how. We know how to get back on the beat, guys. My name is Lisa Renee, and this is.
Aunt Wild, what up?
And we are another mother patio. Hey,
Hey!
it's Friday. Boom, yeah,
Do
boom,
the
bam,
Friday
bam,
dance,
bam,
do the
boom,
Friday
yeah,
dance,
boom,
y'all.
bam,
Do the
bam,
Friday
boom.
dance,
And
do
come
the
back,
Friday
come back,
dance,
come back.
y'all.
I see
Do
them
the
go
Friday
and
dance,
wow,
do the
go and
Friday
wow,
dance.
go and wow, go and wow, go. Hey, hey, shut up. Shut.
Shut up!
All right, I'm shutting up here. What we got going on with and WEEZA Sports? Let's get into. Wait a minute, Aunt. Well, I forgot. We got to tell them get their coffee. I say get their
Uh,
teeth. Get their
yeah.
teeth, but get their tea and get your love. And get
Coffee,
your
get
teeth too if you ain't
tea,
got your teeth.
get your light. Yes, yes. We're gonna get
Hey,
into some
hype this
sports.
weekend.
Sports real quick. Let's get into but before we get into some sports, before we get into some sports, I have to pause real quick.
Oh.
I have to, and I gotta give an appreciation for Lisa Renee. If y'all did not see the big announcement
Oh.
this past on the women in power, as she should be, because she's a glorious woman in power, not only through her credentials as a leader, as a person who's motivated people, help people get promoted to their dream jobs. Not only is that, but a power in spirit, in mind, and body, and soul, and connection. And y'all have been following her all this time now. And the more you follow her, the more you realize she is the definition of a woman in power. One of my absolute dearest friends walking on planet Earth, one of my favorite people on planet Earth, my business partner. Nobody is more deserving of this than Lisa Renee. So before we get going, because we always talking about celebrities, we always talking about all this other stuff, but we got to talk about a celebrity right here, right now, and that's Lisa Renee. So we gonna go on and give it up, get some claps going.
Oh.
We gonna get some claps going on that. Before we
Oh,
get into any other celebrities, we got to talk about the one right here.
thank
So
you.
some
Thank
serious congratulations. I couldn't be more prouder. The future is very bright, just like you are,
you.
with your light skinned self. Uh, so it's very bright, but it's deserving. It's illuminating. It's radiating. It's glowing. It's all worldly. So more, not more congratulations could be in order. Sincerest. It's an honor and a privilege to be working alongside you and with you. It's awesome and amazing. Please
Oh.
accept your flowers.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to partner with Insect Success TV on Women in Power. I cannot wait, guys, until it actually airs. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that I'm trying to take care of. So, girl, being real busy. So, if I drop content or I don't drop as quick, I apologize. It's just a lot of moving parts right now behind the scenes for the show. But I'm so thankful to Meg and all the people who, made the casting decision to bring me on board. For people that have been around for years, you guys know I started out in music, writing, singer-songwriter starting out, and then just went on evolving to a published author, writing books. Also started out in acting as a little girl under my grandmother's direction, learned piano under my grandmother's direction, learned bass guitar under my father's direction, and just went on to theater and, traveled with the Harlem Globetrotters, performed at the Lincoln Theater, and just so many theaters that I'm just so blessed to be a part of. So I am really happy to be a part of one of their episodes and be able to share my story.
1,000. 1,000.
Mhm.
Again,
Yay me, yay
it's a
me,
straight
yay,
hand clap. Usually
Hercules.
people clap like this. We doing the straight hand clap. We doing the Hercules on that. Two hands straight together.
Woo, I hear
That's
at
what we
sports they
talking
talking
about.
about our girl, Ayesha Curry. Poor thing. Again.
Oh man, so listen, and it involves two of my favorite people, and I get Steph, and then I'll circle back. So the Ayesha Curry, so I guess I can't remember the brother's name, who's he's a TikToker, and
Oh,
he
the
got on
influencer.
criticizing
Yeah.
Ayesha. Yeah, he got on criticizing Ayesha pretty bad, talking about she looks like she's ready to cheat on Steph, and every time we got to be around her, it seems like she's talking about like she's ready to cheat or that she regrets and Steph deserves better and all that kind of stuff. So that's him. That's him doing his thing, being a TikToker, whatever, creating his platform, whatever, do your thing. But then Killer Mike chimed in, and for those that know, and if you don't know, now you know. Killer Mike is literally one of my favorite people, favorite rappers to ever live. But just in what he does, the voice that he has, the spirit that he walks with, how he stands on the 10 toes for the cause, for the people, for the you know what I mean? Like Michael Render, that's his real name. Hey man, I'm a big fan of Killer Mike way back in the Outcast days when the whole world days, you know what I'm saying? Like when a lot of people weren't really on him like they on him now. So, which is why Kendrick said, if hey, y'all say y'all miss when hip hop was rapping, well, MF, if you did, Killer Mike would be platinum because he's talking about, listen, if you really like that real stuff, you go make Killer Mike platinum. So, I just wanted to give that because he's one of my
Mhm.
favorite celebrities in the game right now. But he made a comment. He kind of pretty much said, man, that's cold, X, Y, and Z. He kind of made a joke out of it and said, brother Steph deserves better than that. So then Steph responded, and I was looking for it because I had it up. Steph responded and said,
Like we're good over here, kind
he
of.
was like, nah, he said, nah, not you, Mike. Pretty much saying like, I'm cool with these clowns having their moment, but you're
Yeah.
better than that. Stay in your
Right.
lane. Let God keep blessing me like he is. We are good over here. So, and I
Hmm.
feel Steph on that from the standpoint of, because Steph's saying, nah, Mike, because Steph is recognizing how dope Mike is. So he's like,
Hmm.
nah, Mike, not you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Right.
not you. Let these other clowns do that, but you
Right.
righteous. Like, we part of the righteous circle because Steph is part of that righteous circle. I'm a big Steph fan.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Steph is part of that righteous circle. So it's like, nah, dog, stay in your lane, bro. Don't let these cats, drag you in. And then per the little clip I seen on the Breakfast Club when they were talking about it, I can't remember the sister's name, but I guess she had talked to Mike and he was like, no, I didn't mean it
Lauren
like that. It
LaRosa.
was
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I didn't mean it like that. Yeah, it was Lauren, but it was the other girl who said she actually talked to like Mike herself.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay.
yeah, Lauren was the one who broke the story, obviously,
Reported.
but
Mm-hmm.
the other girl who's the one who said that she spoke to Mike last night at the time that they filmed that episode. And
Yeah.
he was like, no, he said, I reached out to Steph, like, hey, no, I didn't mean it like that. If I did, if I offended you, sorry, whatever, whatever. So hopefully that's on the righteous because we need all the righteous brothers to be in the same corner. We can't have the
Yeah.
righteous fighting each other. Like we
Yeah.
can't have that. But so it's interesting because Ayesha, um, gets a lot of flack for
Mm-hmm.
being honest.
She does.
Like she gets a lot of flack from being honest, and it's very interesting to me that she gets the flack like that. Like Aisha's one of my favorite wives. Put her like this. When I talk about Ayesha, I put her in the same bucket as Dell. I know Wardell, Stephen Curry Sr. and Sonia are now divorced or whatever, but they
Yeah.
were together all those years and whatever. And I put Ayesha in the same bucket as Dell from the standpoint of when Dell was playing in the league, and this is me reimagining how it was, right? When he was playing in the league and the game's over and the fellas are going out and whatever, whatever, Wardell was taking his butt home. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I got Sonya at the crib. I'm taking my butt home. You know what I'm saying? Because Sonya's still bad now while you're playing. So he was like, hey, I'm taking my butt to the crib, X, Y, and Z. I put Ayesha in that same category. Like, yeah, okay, hey, Warriors, we winning championships. Like when they was winning, oh, yeah, we going to go out. Steph was taking his butt home. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? He was going
Right.
home to Ayesha because he'd be a fool not to. You know what I'm saying? You better take yourself. If I was one of Steph's teammates and he's like, oh, man, let's go out wild. And I was like, man, you better take your tail home. Hey, listen.
Right.
We going to chase what you already got. You better go
Right.
home, brother.
Right.
So I put Ayesha in that standpoint. And Ayesha's just like, Ayesha's dope to me. Again, I haven't had a chance of meeting the sister, but
Yeah.
I like that whole thing that they got going on. They got four
Mm-hmm.
beautiful kids, the whole thing. So
Mm-hmm.
she seems to get a lot of flack because she had said something a couple years ago. And I'm going to misquote it. So sorry, Ayesha. Please feel free to bring your beautiful self on and correct me. Hot. But was in an interview and she was just talking about, just being a woman, having human feelings. And she had made a comment, you know, I'm super paraphrasing, but pretty much the point of her comment was, like I don't, I feel a certain way if I'm like walking around or I'm somewhere, I do all this to kind of, I keep my appearance up and like, like nobody ever like oodles at me or anything like that. And that was just really more of an honest conversation that she was having on a podcast, but in a woman's room, just talking about femininity and
Mm-hmm.
the longing to feel wanted and attracted and all those kinds
Mm-hmm.
of things. And she caught a whole bunch of flack about that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whatever, however side of the coin you land on that one, that's however side of the coin you land. I mean, I guess if I'm splitting hairs, I can see why. I personally wouldn't make a big deal out of that, but whatever. In this day and age, we act like we can't understand human emotion. It's crazy.
Right.
But in this situation, I don't understand personally to the TikTok brother. I don't understand. Because all she said was, you know, um, when she didn't see herself in her vision, in
Mm-hmm.
her brain as a young lady, she didn't see herself being in this life. She saw herself being a career woman and doing all that stuff. She wasn't the little girl who dreamt about the day I get married and all the picket fences and whatever. She met her person at 19 years old. Well, they
Yeah.
met actually before 19. They
Mm-hmm.
reconnected at 19.
Mm-hmm.
And so the story goes, and they have this wonderful life together and this and that and the third. And so she talks about her yearning to want to still within that, not get lost in only being that. She had these aspirations. She wants to pursue these aspirations. She's a chef. She does all these things, writes these cookbooks and all this glorious stuff. And Steph walks out the red carpet for her to do that. So
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, I think we need to make a decision. And I'm not obviously not talking about me and you, but I'm just saying as a society, it's like if she's not honest, then they're gonna say, "Oh, look at her. She's just a puppet. She doesn't ever say anything with this and that and the
Hmm.
third." But if she's
Yeah.
honest and express herself, then oh man, she's disrespecting Steph. And I'm like, what is it y'all want? It's like, it's just it speaks to the toxic nature of the environment that we live in. That's why you see me repeating the same messages, man. You got to be careful because the mental health is real because no matter where you go, you're going to get flack. She
Hmm.
was just being honest. I didn't see myself here. Now I'm blessed. She wouldn't trade it. Like she would not go
Yeah.
back with the life that her and Steph have built with the kids and stuff that they have.
Yeah.
There's no way she would trade that to go be a career woman and possibly be 37 with millions of dollars with not the glorious life purpose that she has now.
Right.
So it's like she's just being honest, like expressing her story. I don't understand. You know what I mean? That one's hard for me. So that's why it was surprising to me that Mike, who is married and all these kinds of things, has a dope wife and all that kind of stuff. It was surprising that he chimed in being the absolute awesome brother. And I was surprised at that because Mike is he's an advocate. He's all the things, for
Yeah.
the culture, for women, all those kinds of things. So I was surprised at that. But seems like maybe he just made a mistake in judgment as far as what he said and how it was perceived. But he said he reached out to Steph. I'm assuming they connected, but he told old girl, I can't remember her name. Sorry, sister. But she said she talked to him last night because she said, Mike, you got to be careful making these things. People are going to make
Hmm.
it be, whatever. And he was like, nah, I didn't mean it like that. I reached out to Steph. So for the sake of righteousness, I hope these brothers are on the same page. But I don't understand. Ayesha, please continue doing your thing. Steph, please continue being blessed with your beautiful wife and your life and everything that you're doing. And then another thing in sports, NFL season's kicking off. To touch on the DMV area, the Ravens. Sorry, DMV. Ravens lost again.
I know.
Ravens cannot seem. It's funny. I bet on that game. I lost my ticket because other games didn't come through. Thank you, Green Bay, who lost to the Browns when you weren't supposed to lose to the Browns. But I bet on the over on that game because the over was 53.5 at the time that I bet, which means if you guys are unfamiliar with that, what that means is 53.5 is the line. That's the over underline. So if you bet over, that means combined, the teams have to score more than 53.5 points, in this case, 54 points. So that's around 27 to 27 if you just want to call it like that. So I figured that normally with the Ravens playing, which is getting to my point, normally I would bet under, especially with the Ravens and the Lions. I would normally bet under because the Ravens defense is usually really, really stout. So
Hmm.
normally I would bet under because of the stout. For instance, Broncos Chargers, I bet under that money line and I won that particular bet, although I lost my ticket. But
Nice.
I won that because both of those defenses are stout, all those things. So I would have bet under normally. But the Ravens, the collapse in Buffalo, and they couldn't hold water against the Lions. And super shout out to Derrick Henry, who's probably one of the biggest freaks at running back we've ever seen. Both times down the stretch of those games, he's fumbled. So I know he's dealing with that. And I know that was a big turning point in both of those games. But overall, the Ravens D is not the Ravens defense that we have come accustomed to. So that's something that they're going to have to address. They'll be there at the end. Lamar Jackson, again, is having an MVP type year. He's almost becoming like LeBron in the sense of you could dang near have him on the MVP ballot every year. He should have won last year. I know Josh Allen won and all the things, and I won't get into all that. But um, the Ravens defense needs addressing, number one. But on the other side of the DMV, the other DMV team won. Yeah, I'm trying to say. Yeah, I mean, I call them the Skins. Y'all can call them what you want to, but the Skins won. You know what I'm saying? Put it on the Raiders. And, I'm from not only Cali, but I'm from North Cali. So, during the game, I had, everybody dang near, I'm in my neighborhood a Raiders fan. So I had everybody hitting me up, during the game and all that kind of stuff, when it was still pretty close. And then we had to slowly but surely press the pedal on their punk selves, you know what I'm saying, to let them know what's cracking. So the DMV's in the building, 2-1. Marcus Mariota had a really good, manageable game. Defense stepped up. All hell, all hell, all hell. I'm saying all hell. So
Fight
big win
for
for
all
us.
DC.
Yes, yes. Big win for us. 2-1. I can't remember who we play next week, but we got to keep it going because then we got to come and play the Chargers in the week after the next. So we got to win just in case we don't, because the Chargers are really good. So that's the deal on the sports. I just touched in on the Eagles. Oh, I'll touch on one more thing. Eagles.
Ooh, that was
Not
a
only that, man, stop
man.
it. I know my man Julian got some Philly ties and all that. Listen,
Yeah, we were in Philly and it was a lot of mess talking
oh
downtown by Reading Terminal. Oh, it was crazy.
man, stop it. Rams up 26-7. Philly comes back, takes the lead. Rams get down there to the 20. Kick to win. It's blocked and ran back. Brother who blocked it ran it back. That was bananas.
It was,
So
ooh, it was ugly.
there's two takeaways on that. The Eagles are still really good, and the Rams are a lot better than people think. Number
That
one,
part.
because the Rams absolutely should have won that. So big win. Shout out. Well, I don't want to say shout out to the Eagles because they're in my division. Uh, and we're gonna see
On
y'all
behalf of my
soon.
my future hubby, I shout out
Yeah, you,
to
you can
the
go on and
Bird
give us a shout
fans.
out. I ain't giving shout outs to no Eagles. You know what I'm saying? All I'm gonna do is say, hey, good win. On the ticket that I had, I did have y'all winning, so it helped on that. But other than that, you can kiss my you know what. So that's what's up with sports.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Wheezy. So, guys, we are going to get into some health. So, this week we are coming to you regarding avocado. Many of our health enthusiasts are telling us have one avocado a day, but many people are saying no because avocado has too much fat into it. So, let's get into it. So, basically, here are some of the benefits of avocado. It helps lower bad cholesterol, raise good cholesterol. It contains potassium, which helps regulate blood pressure. It is nutrient dense, packed with vitamins like C, E, K, B6, folate, and magnesium. So a lot of times we're taking multiple vitamin. A lot of times, the vitamins are right in the foods if we eat the right foods. It's also good for digestive health. So if you are struggling with going to the bathroom, it has a lot of fiber, which promotes regular bowel movements. And Aunt Wow is moving his head, so he must agree
Show
with that.
that.
He's in California, so I think he probably gets the best avocados, the best guacamole, because he is so close to the Mexico area. Not to mention, it's an antioxidant support with lutein, which helps to protect the eyes from age-related macular degeneration. It supports bone health. It helps with skin elasticity and protect against sun damage. And lastly, benefits, it helps regulate blood sugar levels, reduce inflammation in the body. And some studies even suggest that it improves cognitive function. And so, I mean, if this don't make you go run and get a bag of
Hey,
avocados, put a little sea
hey.
salt on it,
Oh man.
I don't know what to tell you. That's
Hey,
a great breakfast food to have with some eggs and some fruit. That's a complete
hey.
breakfast.
Hey, listen here. I am an avocado advocate. I am a fan. Yeah, the fats, but they're good, healthy fats. I've asked these questions because I like avocados. So when I go get checkups and whatnot, I ask questions about them. And they're like good, healthy fat. Obviously, you can't do too much of anything, right? So you
Right.
obviously can't just be overloading, but you can have good amounts of avocado and it is good. And like she said, digestive system definitely helps there. If
Yeah.
you're having some problems, it definitely helps, consolidate the troops before the troops go on their mission. You know what I'm trying to get across? Instead of everybody being every which way. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to get these YouTube dollars and monetization. So I can't get, you know what I'm saying? I got to be, use my
Cheap seat.
abstract talk, you know what I'm saying, to get my point across. But you know what I'm saying? You want the troops in line. You want
Right.
everybody together before they go on the mission. You don't want everybody going on the mission and everybody going which way. That is
Right.
not how you want it.
Absolutely.
Avocados, you eat them, you have a good balanced meal, like you said, breakfast, get you some good water and stuff around that. You're gonna have all the troops gathering in line, formation, as Beyonce would say,
Okay.
formation before striking on the mission. So take that where you will. If you haven't caught on to it, I don't know what to tell you. You need to speak your brain up.
Oh my
But
goodness.
instead of everybody going, because everybody, yeah, you don't want the soldiers going everybody. You want everything lined up, consolidated, and then let's go on the mission. So avocado is really good. I really like avocado. You can use, like you said, breakfast. I love it with breakfast. Hey man, you can get on avocado toast. I got on that like a couple years
Hmm.
ago. It is off the chain. So
Yeah.
get you
Yeah.
some avocado. I am an advocate.
Absolutely. And Wow brought up monetization. We are up, guys, for monetization on September the 30th, and we're so thankful to you for that. But to ensure that we get monetized, if you can comment, subscribe, share, like, do one of them. You know what I mean? If you don't do all of them, if you can do one of them, so Aunt Wow and I can financially get paid for, bringing you this content every week. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of research that goes into it, behind the scenes. You see us get on and, and we use our personalities to speak, but we do a lot of research behind the scenes. And there's editing too that actually take place before it even comes to you. So we really appreciate if you like and subscribe. And if you say a prayer, pray for us that we have the monetization kick in on September the 30th. We are very, very excited about that, guys. So we forgot to talk about this last week, but when something's important, we don't want to overlook it. So actor and director Robert Redford passed at the age of 89 on September the 16th. Some of his acting credits are Alfred Hitchcock, Twilight Zone, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and Indecent Proposal. Woo, honey, that movie's still good today.
Man,
And then some of his
man.
director credits were Ordinary People, The Horse Whisperer, and The Legend of Bagger Vance. I mean, you would be under a rock to not hear about a lot of these things. He was definitely a legend in the acting and director business, and we just pray that he is up in heaven. And we sent our prayers out to his family members too, as well. But we wanted to pay respect, being an entertainer, especially with us both being actors. We had to pay respect to Robert Redford.
Yeah, Robert was a good one, man. Yeah, and obviously these movies. There's one movie that's one of my favorites that a lot of people don't talk about, but it's a really dope movie, and it's called The Last Castle.
Hmm.
Last Castle. If y'all ain't familiar with that, go get you some of that. That's a really good movie. Robert Redford. I don't want to say anything about it because just go see it. But it's a dope movie. It's a dope movie. It's regarding the military, but it has a different spin on it. Regarding certain consequences when you're in the military and different aspects on honor and how honor is perceived and so forth and so on. So it's a really good movie. Robert Redford was one of them ones. Rest in peace.
Absolutely. And then you guys, we kicked out the show. We kicked off the show with the beautiful, talented mother of three, but we know she has a beautiful baby on the way with Stefan Diggins. Cardi B hit platinum with her album, Am I the Drama? What a way to capitalize on what people already think. Boy, that was smart. She hit platinum in 24 hours. The last woman to do that was Taylor Swift, but Taylor Swift did it in 6 days. Cardi B did it in 24 hours. So we just want to say congratulations to her. I think the album is phenomenal. The song that stands out to me that I really like is the one with Lizzo. Like that one really, really stood out to me. Obviously, Pretty and Petty, she's taking jabs at, I believe it's JT on that. There was jabs, I believe, at Bia on this album. And, Cardi B made it very clear that she was going to get hers back and she was going to get her licks back, but she was going to do it through her music. But, she gets very passionate when people reference her children in any type of way. And I believe one of these rappers, I think it might have been Bia, who mentioned, she should be home with her kids. And, Cardi B gets very passionate when it comes to her children. And as a mother, I totally understand that. Some things I don't think I would necessarily say things. Some things I would let things go, but each and one of us are different. And I think Cardi B is one of these people. She started in the industry with this big personality on Love and Hip Hop. And, she addresses people and she goes 10 downs. But I just want to say congratulations. I think the album is just phenomenal. Great. Where I was able to not skip. When I start skipping, that's a problem. When I'm not skipping and I actually go back because I'm like, I want to hear this song again. I mean, the song with Selena, I'm like, oh, let me hear this song. Again, I didn't know she had so many covers with people, but even the songs that she did by herself, she really put her heart and soul and her work. And she did a live video with her just crying. And I think that's why we love Cardi B. Her authenticity is unmatched. The closest person I would say that we see that authenticity with is Rihanna, is another one who's very authentic. Taylor Swift is another one who's very authentic, just kind of puts it out there. But just to see her tear up and, be so proud after all these years that people love her art, it just makes us love her. And a lot of people try to say that because she added WAP and Up, this was the reason for her sales, but we disagree. The whole album, if anyone, even if you didn't like Cardi, I heard people say, I don't want to like her, but this album is really good. Congratulations, Cardi B.
Congrats. I haven't heard it yet, but I'll
Yep.
give it me, I always give it a listen.
Yeah, he heard just enough Cardi safe to just do the intro. I was like, "You're gonna do the intro," because he is a dope MC and he could do it better than anybody. Guys, also someone unfortunately in the industry that doesn't get the recognition she gets. I want to lift her up because we are both from the DMV. Maya has a new song out called Damage. Ooh, honey. When there is anybody they say making aging look graceful, it is Maya.
Man,
It is
say that again.
Maya.
Woo!
People gain weight and they worry. She gained weight. She looks great.
Woo!
Okay.
Man,
The video
say that again,
Yeah, the
boy. Woo!
video is amazing. And it really reminds me
Woo!
of the old Maya, where
Mm,
she just, the video is just simply her dancing. And so you guys go out, support Maya. Maya is doing things independently, and she's been doing independent music, I think, for at least 20 years.
I've been
And,
doing really well too.
right, and doing very well, making enough to stay afloat, hire her own team and do her stuff, but not have to deal with the bullshit. And,
Hmm.
obviously people love the recognition and stuff, but if you would choose which side to go, I would say Maya is the smartest one. She's probably got
Mm,
less stress than a lot of
mm,
celebrities because she took the independent route. But girl, from one DMV artist to another, I'm so proud of you. I love
mm,
Damage. Not only the songs, the hooks, the choreography in the video, you did a great job. So keep up
mm.
the great work.
Please, hey, listen here. Man, stop it. Yes, yes. Everything is a yes. Song, yes. Video, yes. Her beautiful ASS, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Everything is a yes with that one right there. That's
And it,
that one right there. Woo, child,
yeah.
honey, child. Sugar, honey, iced tea. Woo. Yes.
And it's really sad though, as I talk about these artists, Cardi B, Maya, Lizzo, Selena, we have record deals being signed to artists that are artificial intelligence. And these AI R&B singers are taking the spotlight off of the Chloe Baileys of the world, off of people, even me, off of anyone who uses their natural gifts to sing, who uses their natural physicality to dance. Um, yeah, something's happening. I think this AI got like a $300 million deal. How? They're fake. They're not real. So what are we signing? A robot? It doesn't, I guess somebody created her and they, I guess, get the money for creating her. Another podcaster said this. I wish I can think of her name to give her a shout out, but I would agree with her. If you don't start learning AI, you're going to be behind. So I'm telling everybody, if you are still in the working world, I would say, even if you're retired, it doesn't hurt. Start to learn a little bit about AI because that is the new wave, guys. We already got cars driving themselves. They're already talking about planes driving themselves, you know? And I was just talking to a pilot about like, he was like, I don't know in 10 years if I'm going to have a job. That's a scary thing to, and I was like, shut up. But guys, he was serious. He was like, they're already trying to do it. I said, well, I'm not getting my black, you know what, on a plane without
I'm not
nobody
getting
there.
nope,
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 nope. I have
nope,
to think of
nope.
something else, or
That'll be
they'll have
one
to
empty
have a
plane.
separate industry for
Yeah.
human pilots. Nope, I'm
Uh,
not getting in the cars that drive themselves either.
Me either.
Nope,
Nope.
nope,
Nope.
not
Not
doing it.
not me. So I told
Nope,
him, I said, honey, I don't think you're gonna be gone that quick. I said, because I'm never getting on a plane if nobody's not up there. Because
nope.
technology, we know what technology is. You guys saw early in the show, we were having technical problems. Technology gives you issues.
Mm-mm.
It gives you issues. And I do apologize being the producer of the show. You guys know I'm a flight attendant, so I'm traveling. So sometimes, internet is great and sometimes it suck. And then I even tried to get it on my phone and it wouldn't even let me get it because of the area that I'm in. So we do apologize for the unstable connections if it happens anymore throughout the show. So it's just unfortunate that this is happening, but I think the way that you can be smart and capitalize, start learning it. That way, if you need to get a job in it, you will have a tool or a skill set that can be valuable and utilize into an area that's going to really grow. Yeah.
Um, obviously, I'm vehemently against the AI signing deals, but hopefully, if we got some good people, this is when it becomes very important to pay attention to the personnel that we are electing, not even on the big scale, local scale or whatever, right? We need to
Mhm.
start paying attention to these other branches because if we have some good people, the positive part of it is at some point in time this can become copyright infringement in some type of way.
Mhm.
She is the person who created the AI person is the person who wrote it, but like the voice is AI, the music's AI, nothing about it is, you know, humanly done except for the fact that she did write it. But did she? Right? They're saying she wrote it, but we got Chat GPT, we got all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I am disconnected to feel like we need to go down that route.
Mhm.
Now, I completely agree with the AI sentiment only because it's not going away. I miss the days of not having to worry about AI, to be honest with you. But
Right.
from a standpoint of making jobs easier and all those kinds of things, for sure.
Right.
When it comes to talent and all that kind of stuff, now it's like we can't be that disconnected to think we need that, right?
Right.
Like because that's what makes it what it is. The magic is
Mhm.
in the art, right?
Yeah.
We've survived all these years with it. We have some of the best music we've ever known. AI is imitating us. We're not imitating AI. We
And
got to
that's the
keep that
worry.
in
Where is
mind.
that? Yeah, where is that voice coming from? Is
Where
that
is
the
that
blend of
coming from?
several of us who are singing online? Like, where is that voice coming from? And that's
AI is imitating us. We're not imitating AI. So we need to be very clear on who the muse is in this and not get lost in the fact that we think we need AI. We haven't had it for years. Some of the best music we've ever had the privilege of even experiencing has been through humans all these years. Some of the movies that we've watched that are the best. Yes, you got big budget movies and all those other kind of stuff, but you also have movies that they haven't used any of it. Pulp Fiction and all these movies that I can't even begin to the name. So we need to be very careful when it comes to that. As much as I am losing faith in humanity in a lot of ways,
Mhm.
I still have a bit. I am. I can't lie. And it's scary.
Yeah.
It's really scary. I try not to even go down that rabbit hole because it's very scary. But I do have faith in this people still want the human connection when it comes to that,
They do.
right?
You're losing creativity. And when you add all these twos, it's taking away the people who truly are talented and creative because someone can
Correct.
come behind something and create it versus like I'm an author. I take these words and I write this illustration. Now anybody could come and use these fake things and create it. So it's just a yeah, it's yeah, yeah.
No,
That's all
we
I
don't. We don't need that. The AI person signing deals. That's whack. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And we don't need that. And there, like I say, people are still gonna want there. You still want the human interaction. Like I say, you go to the G and you go to these concerts. I know Chris Brown is killing it now. People want that. I had the honor and the privilege of going to the GNX concert, Kendrick concert in Vegas, and
Hmm.
there's nothing that's going to replace that.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's going to replace that. So we got to keep that in mind, y'all. Keep that in
We do.
mind.
And talking about Chris Brown, one of his fans, they went online, dark-skinned, beautiful girl, saying that she could not get into his concert. She was promised to get VIPs, and her light-skinned friend got offered passes, but she didn't
Wow.
get passes.
Wow.
And though not long after that, we saw him bringing, I believe, Summer Walker on stage. And a lot of people were saying that he only did that to combat with this girl was saying that he has this stigmatism, with dark-skinned girls. And, some girls were getting mad at Summer because it was like, Summer, come on. You literally saw this young girl saying she could not get in. She was promised passes, and two, they saw her. And for you to get up there and act like he doesn't have a problem with dark-skinned people, I just don't get it. I can't
Mm.
say he does. I mean, all people have a type. I think it's natural. Some people like me, I date light, dark. You know that, and while you've seen the people I've dated throughout the years, I go based on character. Some people are like that, but some
Mhm.
people do have, a type, and I don't think that's wrong for them to have that type. But I've saw light-skinned women in his video, but I also have seen dark-skinned women in his videos too as well. So what I'm not saying what they say is, obviously I saw this young girl couldn't get in and she was a beautiful, dark-skinned girl. But I would say most people do have a type if they would be honest.
Yeah, I mean, most people have a type. That part is real. It's funny because people will be like, "Well, Aunt Wild, do you have a type?" And I'm like, that's kind of interesting. I don't. If I have a type, it's not a particular physical type,
Yeah,
right? Now, there are things about women across the board that I do like. I like curvy women,
yeah.
right? I like curvy women. I like women that are in shape, but I like women that have nice, good feminine fats, right? I
Yeah.
don't like no straight up and down. I like
Except
women,
feminine fats. I
I like good
cannot with
feminine
you.
fats.
The
I
women
like
are
good
like, hey, yeah,
I
wow.
like
So
feminine
you
fats, but I said I like them in shape too. So like, listen, you know what I mean? Let's not get carried away. But I like nice features, full, features, cheekbone, that kind of nice
yeah,
lips, all those kinds of things, beautiful teeth, pretty eyes, and I'm not talking about just hazel looking eyes. I'm just talking about
the
the spirit
shape.
within the
Yeah,
eyes, the shape, all
yeah.
that kind of stuff. So like that would be my type, but that can look like anything. I have a
Exactly.
preference, but
Yeah.
that can look like anything though. Like, so I guess if that's my type, whereas there are people who have a specific type.
Physical
That's
type.
not that particularly isn't me. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I only like them brown skin, 5'7", and they gotta look like this and move, move, move. Nah, I need there's other things that I need. Now I do want me a caramel brown. Hey, what she say? 5'5" with brown eyes. Yes, if that
Think
happens
about
to work.
Stephon and Offset. Look at Stephon and look at Offset. Does Cardi B have a type?
Oh yeah, she has a
They
type.
are both kind of shorter guys. They're lean guys. They wear the jeans fit. I mean, I was like, she has a type. Everyone
Yeah.
has a type that they're
Everybody has a
attracted to.
type. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
mad. I just don't like um I don't like, and this is just me speaking from a man's standpoint, right? I don't like when certain men they have a quote unquote type, but then that in them exercising the type they have, it then excludes others. or then lowers others in a certain way. That's the part that I don't really get down with. But we all have a type, we all have a preference. Like to say we don't would be a lie. But
Absolutely.
again, all the stuff that I like, if we're just talking physically, because what they have internally, I need the physical, but the internal is gonna, I'm not gonna turn down a dark skinned girl if I happen to be a dude, which I'm not. But if I happen to be a dude that favored more light brown, light skinned girls, I'm not going to turn down a dark skinned girl who's beautiful and has all the things that I want only
Right.
because she doesn't fit this package. I'm not going to do
Right.
that. Like that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna turn down a light skinned girl just because I may have a preference to dark skinned girls. If a light skinned girl come on and she got all the things I want and I'm attracted to her and whatever, then we just happen to be rolling. So my type is more um
Character based.
it's character based. I do have a physical type, but it's
Yeah,
not
too.
one specific that goes across the rainbow. These are the
Yeah.
things I like. Now, I grew up, certain women, if you can guess, have the features that I've named out. Curvy, got a little tail on her, all these kinds of things, beautiful skin, all that. Most times a lot of the melanin women have those things that I like. But it don't mean that everybody ain't got them. You know what I'm saying? It don't mean that I am completely open, like in recognizing that everybody, you know what I'm saying? There'll be a Mexican girl that I walk by, I'd be like, damn. Hell, sometimes there'll be a white girl I walk by, I'd be like, damn. But my type is more like that, feature based, all that kind
Mhm.
of stuff. Even if we're just talking physically, definitely character. If you ain't got the character, it don't matter what I say physically. If you ain't got
Absolutely.
it, it ain't gonna work. But
Absolutely.
yeah, just the whole like that particular stigmatism. Oh, you got to be light skinned and whoop, 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 and this and that, and the third, or you have to be white or dark skinned or whatever. That's not my type. Isn't necessarily that because if you look at, like you said, if
Yeah.
you look at my resume, they're all over the rainbow too. Now a lot of them may be of the melanin, but it's all spectrums of that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's
Right.
not just only dark skinned girls or only light skinned girls or only
Yeah.
brown skinned girls there, so I agree with you on that because it's all over.
Absolutely, guys. So I'm just going to report out some stuff. We'll just touch bases on them. So the New York Times, they did win their case against Big P. Aunt Wow may call him Big T, but I call him Big P. The judge threw the case out, stating that the filing was too long and that they need to resubmit the filing within 28 days for review. So let's see what happens on that. Also, guys, what has taken place since the last time we were here? Charlie Kirk's funeral was packed. It had a stadium of 90K people in attendance. There were talks that some people were turned away, that many people camped out the night before. People were surprised to see Elon and Big P there sitting together. In addition, people did applaud the widow of Charlie Kirk. She did forgive the man who took her husband's life. She will take over as CEO of her husband's former company. And many people like JD Vance spoke. And he basically spoke at his funeral, just saying that Charlie brought him closer to Christ in the past couple of weeks. He does have an influence. I noticed that a lot of younger people are holding hands. I see a lot of men that are doing things for women that I normally did not see happen. And they are talking about Charlie Kirk, just me in the aviation business. I'm hearing these talks. So I just think that if he could bring more people to Christ in this tragedy, unfortunately, I guess that's the beauty in it. When you try to find the beauty in a situation, if more young men are saying, I'm going to be with one woman, I'm going to honor her, I'm going to love her as Christ loved the church, based on Charlie Kirk, then my God, I think that that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. And the last thing I wanted to report out, not the last thing we're going to talk about, but just part is just reporting out on Kamala dropped a book. It's titled 107 Days. She is speaking on it currently, going on different shows, telling people what she experienced in the last 107 days. As you guys know, me and Aunt Wow, we did a skit on Kamala. I think we might need to repost it, and so I'm very happy that some of these things that Aunt Wow and I put in the skit, she actually talked about. We knew she was struggling. We knew that it was difficult. And we knew that her husband was seeing some things that probably we were not privileged of. So just congratulations on that book. And it's always good to tell your own story. Don't let somebody else tell your story. And then I also want to report out that Jay-Z's bid was denied for the casino in Times Square. Many local residents were not happy with him wanting to put a local casino there. Times Square, they felt that they didn't need a casino there. It was going to bring in a lot of alcoholics, a lot of gambling problem, a lot of rumblings online is that Beyonce and Jay may be having financial issues, but Beyonce's fans are pushing back and saying Jay might be having issues. Beyonce ain't having no issues at that at all. And there is talks that they're planning on to buy a house in United Kingdom, whether it's true or not. But some people are wondering too, was Jay-Z denied based on race, or was he just denied because they just didn't feel that a casino should go into Times Square? And then the last thing is TikTok. For all our TikTok influencers out there, social media, TikTok will be staying. It will be here. Unfortunately, it won't be ran by the prior company. It's going to be ran by an American company, and that has a lot of influencers uncomfortable, saying that they are going to cancel their TikTok immediately when that happens. So again, Aunt Wow, I don't know if you have any comments, whether the New York Times, Charlie Kirk, Jay-Z, and then Kamala, if you do, go ahead and go into that before we talk about David and Celeste
Um,
Hernandez.
um, you know, just it's a lot to unpack. But
Did you hear what Vance said? Vance said that I forgot that thing too. Vance Jones actually mentioned that him and Charlie Kirk were going at it online. I mean, back and forth like bad. And the night before Charlie passed, Charlie Kirk reached out to him, sent a DM and said, "Hey, Vance, would you like to come on to my show? And you and I talk about it kind of man, I'm paraphrasing, kind of man to man, and we can maturely disagree, agreeable." And Vance was really moved by that. He hadn't shared it until just recently. I think he was trying to wait until the funeral and stuff passed to be respectful. But he said it really touched him because he goes, we went at it bad online, but he still was trying to have a conversation with me about it, on his show. Could that have been sincere? Could that have been ratings? I don't know. It could have been a little bit of both, but he was very touched by that. And it also showed another side of Charlie Kirk. He really liked debating. He liked going at it with people. There's a debate. I don't know if you see him. It's with this black girl. She looks like she's mixed though. Man, that girl was hammering and she was giving him a run, for his money. But it looked like he had known her and they had had like a certain back and forth in the past. But it was a really good, healthy debate. Really good, healthy debate.
I will say this. I will say this. Um, in that respect, for the most part, he was about that smoke, right? A lot of people throw they rock and hide their hand and all that kind of stuff. And I'm saying this complimentary because he did like to debate. He did do his thing and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of times he got it handed to him.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times. There's a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? People was giving him that work and, had him kind of in a corner where he couldn't. But he still came. He still came.
Yeah,
There's a lot to be said there, right? I
absolutely.
respect that. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot to be said there. Um, and so that was good that Vince said that, that it's a lot to unpack, and I'm not going to do that. But I'm glad you brought that particular part up because I do respect that. I respect that from anybody who's willing to get down and get in that smoke. And I think that, you know, to move on, not to move on like that, but to kind of segue into Kamala's book, that was one of the biggest mistakes is that she and listen, this could have been me and my boy talked about this. We've had really me and a couple of my boys have had really long, me and you've had these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it was counterproductive to her personal strategy. Maybe she didn't want to do it, but it was like, and this is me this is me completely being bipartisan. Just, I'm a sports guy at the end of the day. I say that a lot. I analyze it like, at the end of the day, if you go into a courtroom, I think we was talking about the Puffy thing, and I was like, yo, take every feelings out of it. Strategy is this. It's like a sport. We got to win this, and here's what we got to do to win X, Y, and Z. So I feel like in the sport of it, she allowed the Democratic strategists to make her play too safe.
Mm-hmm.
And that may be some of the stuff that she's alluding to, right? You a prosecutor, man. You've been out here getting it done. You should have been out here completely being imperfect and completely doing your thing, right? And taking all the smoke that comes with that. Because it felt like the Democratic strategists were thinking, well, the more she's opened up, the more it kind of exposes things. Well, Kamala can talk. She's been doing this, all these kinds of things. Kind of turn her loose,
Yeah.
right? And probably, and I don't mean to be putting words in your mouth, Kamala. Please come on and straighten me out if I am, because that's not my intent at all. Again, this is just me being an NBA commentator talking about the political race.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what she may be feeling is, damn, if we was gonna lose, we should at least went out like this.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? As opposed to, and then they gave her 107 days. So I feel like they gave her 107 days. I feel like that was, and she kind of alluded to that in some of the stuff I read,
Not
where
enough time.
she wasn't given enough time to the kind of it was kind of like the Biden administration, but the Democratic strategists at that point felt
Mm-hmm.
like by giving her that short amount of time, they could kind of camouflage some of the things, and then they can maybe just woo the people over with a lot of the dope stuff that
Yeah.
she did plan on doing, because she did plan on doing a lot of dope stuff that a lot of people were talking crap about now. And I bet you a lot of you people, because you see it all the line, you see all the people flipping MAGAs and all that. And again, this isn't me being on no part of this, is just me being real as a human. At the end of the day, I care about us. I don't, they get a chance to go lose and be in these situations, and we still
Right.
down here dealing with their mess ups. So I'm not about to get on nobody's side. At the end of the day, if anybody talks to me, I ain't on. They all on the same side. At the end of the day, at the total end of the day, right? But a lot of the stuff that she had in place was gonna be good. I bet you a lot of people would like that now in comparison to where we at now. I know that because you see a lot of people flipping MAGA all the time. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Dean Withers, who's one of the main people out here on Trump helmet, was a Trump supporter, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, so people would like, and I'm only saying this to say again, I'm not even getting on no distance. That wasn't even, I wasn't even dissing. I'm just saying, I think that that message that she was trying to get across just didn't fully land
Mm-hmm.
because it was, the strategy was to be too safe,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she even said that when she said, and she admitted that, because I think this was where the biggest blunder happened. And from a little article that I read announcing the 107 days and kind of talking about what she's talking about in the book, they said that she had said that when she extremely regrets being on The View, talking about what would she do differently and not distancing herself
Mm-hmm.
from a lot of the stuff that Biden did that a lot of people didn't agree with. And she
Yeah.
said that was a huge mistake. That's probably where I lost it. And that could be where, especially if behind closed doors you were getting pushback, you definitely should have been on some look here. This is what we did. We believed in it at the time we did it. There were some good things that happened, but there were some unfortunate things that happened too, that we were just acting in the best interest of the people. But going forward, here's what we've done to counter that. Here's what we got. Blah, 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 blah. I think that very simple thing could have completely flipped a lot of the stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to have people who are going to be relentless T supporters, and you're going to have people who are going to be relentless whatever other side supporters. The vast majority of where that can kind of go, a lot of that is in the middle, and that's where it was lost. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm interested to read to see, is she getting as deep, because it sounds like she getting, like you said, back to the skit you said that we did, that probably needs to be reposted.
How about that?
Now that we're talking about it,
How about that?
but it sounds like that's a lot of the stuff that she's talking about. And it just would have been nice had y'all, and I know it's hard. You got money involved, you got all this money you're raising, and a lot of the money that you're raising is based on this particular premise that you're going to run the campaign like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, strategically, again, this is just being from a strategic standpoint. It got lost being too careful, and now this newer wave ain't being that careful no more. And so that's why you're starting to see a lot of people take different realizations in how they perceive certain things, because
Yeah.
they don't do no, you can't be this whole outy mighty. No, there's errors everywhere. So own the errors, own up to what you do, stand up to it, be better for the people, which is what you planned on doing and going forward. So that 107 days, perfectly titled, actually,
Mhm.
be very interesting read.
Absolutely. And I was talking to my mom about that today. This is going to tie into what you said. And we said if Crockett was running and Harris were running, who would the people go for? And
Oh,
we said probably Crockett
for sure.
because you see her. This is who she is. She doesn't pretend to be anybody but who she is. And I understand she has a show coming up with Colbert now. I haven't heard anything about it, but somebody was telling me that she's about to do a show
Good
um,
honor.
with him. So I
Good
thought,
on both
wow,
of
I
them.
would have never saw that coming, but
Good on
that's
both of them.
great. So I want to hear more of that. I also wanted to report out too, guys. I don't know if you heard about it, but the Rockefeller Co founder Damon Dash. I know, Aunt Weil and I talked to you guys about him last weekend, the weekend before, but he is suing rapper Cameron Gals for 300 million and is also threatening a separate 100 million RICO lawsuit against reality star Claudia Jordan. Damon legal team sent a demand letter to them on 9/19, and some podcast hosts are laughing at the suit, and others are saying Damon is not to be played with. And so, I even though there are some things that Damon did that I may not agree with, but when I tell people Damon Dash drops knowledge, if you could listen through the ego type things, and I don't mean that in a bad way when I say that, when he was talking about Trump filing for bankruptcy, because people don't understand personal assets and business assets and how he's still a billionaire. He's talking facts, guys. He's talking facts. And if you know how the world works when it comes to assets and offloading those assets and investing, and this is the only real way you can get rich, you would understand that some things he's actually saying, he's right.
Hmm.
He's absolutely right. So if you can get past the other stuff and really listen to Damon Dash, he absolutely is very good at business. Nobody is perfect in anything that they do, but his mindset is very much on a majority schedule than a minute schedule, I would say. And yeah, so we'll see what happens with those suits. So let's
Yeah,
talk. Oh,
Dame
go
be
ahead.
dropping some. Dame drop just to, yeah. I just
Yeah,
echo
yeah.
that. Dame drops. He does. He does. He just, you got to deal with a lot, right? And that's unfortunate. Just like I said last week, I be trying to root for Dame, but you do have to deal with a lot, and that's just kind of what it is. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with those suits. And then also, guys, just a big congratulations to Jimmy Kimmel. As we know, Jimmy Kimmel was suspended for this past week, and the outrage of people, it came from both sides. I mean, people who did not like him still agree with his rights and did not agree that his rights should be taken away. And so when Jimmy spoke last night, it was one of the best openings. I actually was feeling bad for Big P at one point because I mean, when I talk about Jimmy Fallon went in on Big P like I have never ever saw before. Many people said that he had to apologize. He did apologize. But he did it more in a way to say, hey, my joke was never to make light of what happened to this 31-year-old. Really, he was actually talking about how Big P wasn't really focusing on the passing and more focused on the construction and stuff. But he could see, he said, why he thought the joke might have went another way because it was a very sensitive time. But a lot of people stood up for him, from Howard Stern to, Wanda Sykes, to Ted Cruz even, made a comment about it. And it's good to see him back on. But guys, he's not back on all stations. And so if you can support him on YouTube, that's another way to support and watch his stuff, because a lot of people have not reinstated him unless he pays, certain money to the Kirk family. And I just don't see Jimmy Fallon going that way. But congratulations, the people spoke. A lot of people canceled their Hulu, their Disney passes to make sure that their voice was heard. I mean, they tried to mess with someone and they obviously got the wrong one. They
Yeah,
they, they really
if
got the
there's
wrong one.
yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
If there's one message, me and Eva were talking about this last night. If there's one message that we can all take from this, and it sucks that it's this way, right? Money talks, BS walks, right? And it sucks that it's that way. It is. It's terrible that it's that way, but the reality of it is it's that way. So guess what? Because it's that way, it actually can give you some power. You know why? Because it makes you realize we got power, right? You don't think it matters. It's just like voting. Oh, my vote don't matter. Yes, it does. When everybody's collectively, it matters. In this particular situation, one person might feel like, oh, me canceling mine. No. When everybody did it to where there's a Jimmy Fallon
The
got
petition
suspended,
went
wasn't even
out.
2 weeks,
Hmm.
wasn't even two, yeah, it's almost $1 billion lost. We matter. Don't ever let them think that you don't.
Yeah.
That is the trick. The trick is to make you think you don't matter. You absolutely matter. We can mobilize, we can move, we can strategize. The power is literally ours. That is the biggest takeaway. And for the incident specifically, Jimmy was really more criticizing Trump.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I keep saying it. I'm sorry.
I know.
Um, he was really criticizing T. That's really
Hmm.
what he was doing.
Yep.
Um, I could, listen, it's sensitive as it should be. It's a tragic thing that happened. So I understand the sensitivity of it. But he wasn't criticized, he was criticizing the reaction to it, which is why he said, oh, he must be in the first whatever stage of grief construction. Like, because it did come off very matter of fact,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
came off very matter of fact. That's what he was criticizing more than anything. And in these days where everything is blurred and it's hard to whatever, I understand and all the kind of stuff, but it's good, like you said, both sides. Both
Yeah.
sides. There was a lot of people prominent on the other side, and I don't even want to say the other side, like, but on the
Yeah.
other side that were, even putting in, Mr. Kirk from a standpoint of he wouldn't want this,
Yeah.
right? Like, you know what I mean? So that was needed because that's just come on, like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, come on, y'all, like, hey, but that's good from that standpoint. And like I said, y'all, um, the power is ours. So we got to pay attention because the
Absolutely.
power is ours. It is their strategy to have us. You know why they want us fighting each other? So that we don't focus on the fact that the power is ours. The more you guys are out there fighting, the more we can sit up here and do all the stuff that we want to
Hmm.
do. Have them focus on the smoke screen. Put a smoke in the middle of the city. They all gonna run to the smoke. And meanwhile, we can do all this stuff to rebuild the city in a way that they don't even understand. So stay locked in. This is an everyone message. Stay locked in. And I've been saying that, and I'm going to continue to say it because that's why I'm here.
Absolutely.
Hot.
Hot. So, guys, so everyone's up in arms about Big P talking about Tylenol being linked to autism. But what I want to bring to the forefront is what everybody is forgetting to bring up. If you remember, Fred Trump spoke out about him having a child. Well, let me let you guys hear this clip from The View, and you can hear it from his mouth himself of what he say, and then Aunt Wow will come back and we will talk about this. We will also talk about David, the singer, and then wrap up with our inspirational quote from Robert Redford.
Again, I called him to say, Donald, the fund is running low. And without skipping a beat, he said, your son doesn't recognize you. Let him die and move down to Florida. Now, I can't explain how anybody could say that about another human being, least of all your grandnephew.
A blood relative, too.
A blood relative. And Donald had never met William. He didn't understand the inspiration William is to people. Anyone who William meets, and if you look at the smiles that he has, he is quite something.
I can't remember because this was a while back. I cannot remember if his son had autism. Maybe Aunt Wow can look that up. But what I can say, his son was disabled. And from his mouth, you saw what he stated that his family member, who we know as Big P, said. So now, fast forward to current day, he's linking Tylenol to autism. But if you look at this, it seemed like, God, how do I say this? I don't know all the moving parts from a family perspective, but I would say those words are pretty harsh if they're true. That Big P actually said that. And I just wonder, is there any correlation? And this is just allegedly speaking, with him making this correlation. Does this tie back to any issues within his family? I don't know. I just think as a reporter and into journalism, I think it's important for us to bring up what Fred Trump said, and he also had a disabled child too as well. So no one's bringing it up, but I think it's something I think we should look at.
Yeah, and you're saying, I'm sorry, I was looking up what the sun was, so I may have missed something. So you're saying that you feel like um him linking it's related. You feel like it like T is relating it to family history. Is that what you said?
I'm saying if what his Fred Trump is saying true about Big P making that statement, then how can he link that to that when it seemed like there was less care even to his own family member who needed resources and income? And he couldn't get it to the point that he said, the child doesn't even recognize you. He should just go and be on his way. Because autistic children have a lot of, I would say different symptoms, and I mean that respectfully. But I find that strange knowing that history, and now he's linking Tylenol with that. I find that really strange. Doctors are pushing back saying that no, Tylenol, this is probably going to hurt the cells financially,
So
of
that's
Tylenol.
literally where I was going.
Yeah.
So I was going to that, unfortunately, but that's where I was going. I was going to, there has to be, I hate to say, knowing him, I hate to say that, but can only go by history and how certain vendettas are dealt with and certain perceptions of pettiness are displayed. It makes me feel like, is it something like that? Is there a beef with somebody at the high end of Tylenol that he has that didn't help with the policy or something, or somewhere in the care of medical or something like that? And this now will be a way to hurt. That's literally where I was going. You just said it before I did it.
Are
Like that's where
autistic children considered disabled? Would they be considered disabled?
it depends on their level.
Okay.
If there's some that are like on the spectrum, you have on the spectrum. There are some who are like, a lot more functionable. And then if you are severely like autistic, good question on the disabled,
Oh,
but
it
I
is
would,
considered. It is. So,
yeah, I was about to
okay.
say I would think so because there's a
It
lot of
is.
daily functions that they just can't do on their own.
So this
Even if
type,
they can walk on their own and
yes.
stuff like that, they don't, the way the way that their brain works isn't socially functionable in the quote unquote everyday society.
So
So,
this goes back to what I was saying, right? Because if it says, yes, autism spectrum is a disorder, it's considered a disability under the Americans Disability Act. The ADA defines a disability as a physical or mental impairment that sustainably limits one or major life activities. So if you think about his family member, you saw the video, his family member was disabled, he had a disability, and he's
mhm,
in a wheelchair. So
yeah,
I don't know if there's any correlation, but I just find that strange that he's bringing that up now, knowing the history of a family member. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off with
I don't know. I could only go to the
that.
financial portion of it because I don't. It's hard for me. I hear what you're saying, but I'm trying to find
I
any other link. Like, what's the
yeah.
other link? Why would he?
Yeah, I hope Fred speaks out. I hope he said something. Um, because his son, obviously has a disability, which is a family member of Big P. So I don't know. I just thought it was important to bring it out there. So any more commentation on that before we move on to the singer David?
No.
All right, so David the singer, if you guys don't know him, he cancels his tour amid investigation of ex allegedly girlfriend Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who remains were found in the trunk of his car. So let me break it down for you guys. Singer David is caught up in a controversial tragedy following the discovery of 15-year-old a 15-year-old body in a Tesla with him being the owner. The vehicle was found in Hollywood Hills impound lot. Unverified rumors of an infant remains found near Davis' residence. And so people are alleging that maybe Celeste was pregnant.
Wow.
Police, I know, police raided Davis' home, seizing evidence. Allegedly, I'm hearing that they started talking when she was only 11 years old. They do have matching tattoos. People are saying there is footage and photos that are floating around of them together. She's been reported missing since she was 13 years old, and her mother did mention she was dealing with someone by the name of David. She was found missing not long after, again, her 15th birthday, and the investigation is currently ongoing, and David has not been arrested at this time. Yeah. So there was a song also that got leaked of him actually describing, I think, some of the horrific things of um doing something to a person and putting their body like in a trunk and things like this. I'm shocked
What?
he hasn't been arrested. Yeah. Some people are saying she didn't look 15. I don't give a damn whether she looked it or not. She was. And she's been missing since she was 13. And David is grown. Um, and it's just unfortunate. And so what I want to say about this story, Aunt Wow, and we've said it and we're going to say it and we're going to keep saying it, and to these young girls, you guys have got to listen to us. Everything that seems beautiful and wonderful and glamorous and all of these good things, um, there's probably a hidden darkness in there. There's probably a hidden darkness in there. So I just want to encourage young women, young girls, if you feel something in your gut, get your dad involved, get an uncle involved if dad is not around, get a brother involved, something, because they say she was running away from things at home. Those things at home, I don't know what those things are, but still, even if there was things gone at home wrong, she ran right into darkness because she's no longer here. And any grown man that's trying to talk to anyone under 18, I'm telling you, young girls, that's a problem, sweetheart. That's a problem. If he really likes you, he can wait at least until you are 18 years old. Um, Celeste shouldn't have been gone. And I hope, like HELL, we find out what really happened. I think many people in their gut kind of have a hunch, but we have to say allegedly right now. But a lot of the facts are leading to what they say, that David somehow, some way has something to do with this, allegedly. And I will be glad when police speak out and let us know what's going on, because Celeste, she does matter. She might just be a beautiful little Latin girl to some people, but she is someone's daughter. She's someone's niece. She's maybe someone's sibling. And maybe she was a mother, and so now we have a mother and a baby. So we need to get to the bottom of this situation sooner than later.
11?
Mm-hmm.
They had something going
Allegedly.
on since 11.
Allegedly. Mm-hmm.
Allegedly.
And she
She's
left
been
home
missing
at
since
13, since 13.
13. What? Like, huh? I don't have a lot to say, y'all.
No,
I
it's
cannot grasp.
fathom. Yeah, it's too
I
much.
cannot grasp how, if you grown, I understand liking a younger chick, but dang, that doesn't even. I am. Let me put it to you like this. This is real. This is me getting human and trying to be out of the place of astonishment. I am so grateful, and I mean this. I'm literally dang near praying, y'all, as we talking about it. I am so grateful that whatever it is that makes you attracted to a young girl that way, that I was not afflicted with that. I am
Mm.
so grateful. I am so grateful, because you got to be afflicted. And y'all, if y'all from the non-black urban areas don't understand, from us black folk, we know what that means. Afflicted. That means you touched in an unfortunate way. I want to say pause, but the heck with it. Like if you, that's because here's the thing. Here's why I'm saying that. Because that's just not one year 11-year-old girl. That means you're attracted to 11-year-old girls.
Mm-hmm.
If you have been involved with let alone 15, 15 is entirely too young, right? I don't care how she looks. I
Yeah.
don't care if she look like Venus Williams. It is entirely too young. Everything about it is entirely too young. And I am grateful that that does not make me move in a certain way. I cannot explain that enough, because I have no understanding of that. How is that even possible? 15 but you've been involved since 11. She's been missing since 13. That means you like 11-year-old girls or 13-year-old girls. It's not just this one person who caught your eye. That means that's what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so grateful that I am not looking at a person who's been alive 11 years. Think about that. They've been alive 11 years.
Yeah.
Heck, 15 years.
Yeah.
You know how long? 15 years ago was yesterday. What is you doing with a 15-year-old other than raising her? That's it. That's anybody, let alone, I'm just talking about the men. There's if you're around a 15-year-old girl and you're grown, the only reason you should be around her is if you are in some type of way a family member
Mm-hmm.
who is a positive influence, or you are raising that girl.
Right.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
Yeah.
I don't even understand it. And I'm talking about, if this was my show and I didn't really care, I'd get like really explicit about it. I'd really get on some real man stuff. Like, how do you even get around? How does that even fuel you?
Yeah.
I don't even understand. I am beyond, um, I'm just beyond.
Yeah.
I Celeste, I don't even know. Hey, listen, you are watching over us, or the unborn child, possibly. What is going on? The fact that you got the fact that you landed in the hands of whoever did this
Mm,
and it's looking a certain way. Sorry, brother.
sorry.
You get no
Not sorry.
defense from over. You get no defense over here, right? None.
Mm,
Um, I don't even. I don't even. I just. I'm just really. I really apologize that you landed in this person's arms and this was your demise. It's. I don't even have any words. I don't
no,
even got no words.
guys, if you guys can see, we normally are not choked up, but I think this story is just taking everyone back, and I don't feel like enough people are talking about it. I really don't. But we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it. And if there is any truth that is in it, I would hope that David can get some help for whatever that is. Those days are over of dating women that age. Back in the day, they did do it historically. We understand that, but we also
Yeah.
found that girls don't, even little boys, they don't have the mental maturity until a certain age, which is why you cannot drink or drive, at a certain age. There's a reason why these things are put out there. And so, to her family, we our prayers are with you, and we hope that more people will talk about this story and answers will get out there, because her story did matter. Her life did matter. Even if young girls can learn from her story what not to do, that's why we want to know the truth, so we can encourage young girls of what not to do, so that their life doesn't have to be cut short because, someone obviously went into rage about whatever it may be and decided the only way they could deal with it was by taking this sweet young girl's life. So it's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. So, guys, we're going to wrap up with our inspirational quote. We thought it would be fitting to bring up a quote from the late Robert Redford. And he said, "Speak out for what you believe and what you feel, or don't. You have to live with yourself." Let me say that again. Speak out for what you believe and what you feel, or don't. You have to live with yourself. This is by Robert Redford. And so I want to take this first, Aunt Wow, if you don't mind. One of the great leaders out there, and I think it was John Maxwell, and I'll never forget this advice. And if I'm getting the wrong guru, somebody correct me on this, but the advice is very sound. He said, one or two things are going to happen in a situation. You're going to A, make someone else feel better, or B, make yourself feel better. And that advice stuck with me so hard that I was ready to cry that day. Because how many times do we suffer in silence, letting other people win? And so, a prime example, when I think about Jimmy Fallon, I remember I had a theater production to do, and I did the show one way this whole time. But because certain people were in the audience, I was told, no, you're not supposed to do that. We told you not to do it this way. And so you have to change it because this person is in the audience. And as a comedian, we understand, like Jimmy Fallon, every joke is not for everyone, but it doesn't mean that we should be silenced, because I'm telling the joke because there's many people that feel exactly like I feel, right? It doesn't mean you don't like the person or you're mad at the person, but jokes are told based on truthful things that have happened, whether you agree or did not agree. When you mention certain people's name, whether we say it or not say it, things are going to come up about people. And so where I lived at, the mayor unfortunately was brought up in the news because of some drug allegations. I, in turn, made some comedy around that situation. And it got a lot of laughs on many nights and years to come. But because there were certain people in the audience, I was told to change it. And respectfully, I did change it. But where I learned to speak out for what you believe and what you feel or don't, because you have to live with yourself, I've never worked with that company again. That company has asked me to work with them. I've never went back. That was my way of speaking up. That was when I couldn't do it in the moment, because you guys may think, well, Lisa, why didn't you just go out there and do it the way that you did it? Because I'm under contract. And when you're under contract, you are directed by a director and you have to abide by that. And that's the respectful, professional thing to do. However, once you have done what you needed to do on your job, I'm out. I'm out. And I'm in a phase in my life right now that you have to speak your truth. There's a way you can say it without hurting people. But if you do not speak your truth, it's almost starting a cancer in your body. And too many times, especially people with my personalities like yours too, Aunt Wow, we allow a cancer to sit there versus tell people what we should be telling them. And it's time, guys, that we start to speak out for what we believe and what we feel. Because if we don't, like Robert Redford said, you're going to have to live with that. And once that moment in time and issue is gone, it's gone. We're not saying be rude in how you deliver. But if there's something you feel passionate, you feel strong about it, say it, and don't feel bad about saying it. Because you're going to either make them feel good or you're going to make yourself feel good. And I'll end my comment on that inspirational quote there.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add. Simply because everything you said was true. In the quote of, you're either going to make somebody else happy or you're going to make yourself happy. That needs to be an inspirational quote in itself. Because that is the truth. That's the truth. That is the truth. You're either going to make somebody else happy or you're going to make yourself happy. It kind of goes back, ironically, back to the topic we were talking about with 107 Days with Kamala's book. Like, hey, listen, if I'm going to lose, or if I'm not going to succeed this time, I don't even want to say if I'm going to lose. If this time there's a setback, I at least want there to be a setback I can walk away from it cleansed because I did what I believed in. There's nothing worse than having something not go your way and you didn't do your justice in it. Mm-hmm. There's nothing worse than that. You know what I'm saying? Fellas, I'll take it to fellas. We can make it light real quick, fellas. How many times have you been somewhere and there's been this girl who's just moved you? And she may even given you a little rhythm, may even given you a little eye contact or something. But you were so whatever, enamored or whatever it was, didn't feel like she would, whatever the situation was.
Afraid of rejection.
And you happened to listen. Afraid of rejection, right? You let that win. And what happens? The next week and a half, you sit thinking about, dang, man, guess what? Had you did what was in your heart, and you did like Lisa said, I'm not going to go out here and be the aim is to get my point across as clearly and non-offensive as possible. But I cannot own how you'll receive something. Mm-mm. I can't own that. I can own how I deliver it. Mm-hmm. I can own my tone. I can own my inflections. I can own my words. I can own my intent. Yeah. I cannot own how you're going to receive that. So as long as you're in that mind frame, you let the chips fall where they may, and you'll be okay. So in that situation, fellas, you sitting there, hey, and then you sitting there and you're beating yourself up, and now it messes with you. As opposed to that situation where, hey, man, you was talking to this girl, you woo, 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 and she didn't budge. She wasn't cool, whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? You ain't gonna trip on her no more because you did what you were supposed to do.
Yep.
You shot your shot. Hey, man, it didn't go my way. Hey, if you look at it correctly, and mind you, this is a working thing for both of us still. But if you look at it with what can I gain as opposed to what can I lose, it'll
Mm.
completely change your mindset. If you look at the fear of not doing it as opposed to the fear of rejection, if that fear of not doing or saying something outweighs that fear of rejection, it's always going to outweigh that fear of rejection. You're going to find yourself in rooms you never thought you would be in simply because you thought glass half full as opposed to glass empty, half empty.
Half empty,
What
absolutely.
can I gain from this? If you have to invest in something regarding yourself, what can I gain from this as opposed to
And
what am I
peace.
going to lose?
Yeah, you gain so much peace when you are honest with yourself. There's a peace that surpasses everything when you are honest with
Period.
yourself. You go against the grain. You know what I'm saying? Some of you are afraid to post because you're worried about what people are going to say. When you don't realize that you were brought in this world to say something, which is why you have the inkling to do a YouTube or a TikTok.
Right.
You know, you just have to step out and be true to yourself if this is something you truly want to do. And if someone does something you don't like, don't get mad at yourself for speaking out on it. That is your
Right.
truth.
Right.
That is your
Right.
truth. That is your truth.
Period.
Guys, we love you so much. We wish you all the best. We know we had a jam-packed schedule for you because, news starts just coming in, trickling, and we do want to talk about and let you know what's actually going on in the world so that you can be educated. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you feel you choose to do with this show. But we just ask that you do something because it's a way that you can support almost if you can look at us as a network, right? Just like a TV station, ratings do matter. When we think about Jimmy Fallon, all of this has caused his ratings only to go up. So the more you can do those things, whereas you comment, subscribe, it all helps us out. We appreciate you so much. We will be here same time every Friday at 9 a.m. If you have any questions for us, drop it down in the comment. And Wow or myself will get back to you guys. So get your coffee, get your tea, and get your light. We'll see you next week. Bye.